Hi guys, hi subscribers, and welcome back to the channel. For anybody who's new, my name's Dominic James Murray. I'm CEO, founder, and IFA here at Cameron James. Okay, so guys, I've been transferring pensions for over 10 years now. For better or worse, it's pretty much all I've ever done since coming out of university. So I hope my experience here can be valuable for you in understanding your SIPP options. So the topic of today is the best international SIPP provider or the best international SIPP platform. Okay, so for me, I would say it comes down to a two-horse race in this day and age. You've got iPensions and you've got the Novia Global International SIPP. These are the two SIPPs which we currently use for our clients. In sort of third and fourth and fifth place, I would say you have London and Colonial, and you also have the Fidelity SIPP. But to be honest, for me, Fidelity International SIPP, but for me, the others don't really get close to these two, currently speaking. If you're working with any of these providers or you've had an advice report from any advisor mentioning these guys, if you would like to have a conversation with us to understand your options, you can book in below via my calendar link for free initial consultation. We know these providers like the back of our hand. We might well tell you to maintain the correct SIPP that you've been advised, but maybe your underlying fund charges are very expensive. For example, we typically have an ongoing fund charge of around 0.3% with an annualized return of around 10 to 11% based on a balanced portfolio, 65 to 68% weighting, not depending on what happens with Russia and Ukraine whilst they're doing bits and pieces. So anyway, guys, on to best international SIPP. So why have I limited it down to Novia Global International SIPP and the iPensions platform SIPP or the iPensions SIPP USA? In my opinion, these are the two best providers left in the marketplace. So we'll start off with Novia Global. I've done a couple of videos on Novia Global as a platform and the Novia Global International SIPP. I hope my manager put some nice tick boxes around here for you to click. Effectively, Novia Global are fantastic. They don't allow any commission or trail or exit penalties inside any of the solutions that you're advised. So that means the funds you're buying, the BlackRock, the iShares, the Vanguard, the Bailey Gifford, anything you're buying, you're getting the lowest cost possible in the market compared to the funds which have been ramped up with charges to help IFAs line their pockets at the expense of clients. I must also caveat that iPensions also do that, so it's a similarity for the both of them there. One of the possibilities that makes iPensions sometimes more attractive is the fact that they accept insistent clients through a DB advice process. Anybody who's transferring the DB pension, you will know if it's not advised suitable for you to transfer your pension, you do have the option to transfer your pension, but you will have to go through an insistent client process. The insistent client process is effectively writing a handwritten letter to your financial advisor and also to the scheme trustee, iPensions SIPP, for you to outline that you're very, very clear that you realize you're giving up your defined, safeguarded income, guaranteed income for life, and you can't go back. The reason we have this is a lot of clients 5 or 10 years ago are saying, I didn't understand the advice I was given. Possibly they weren't given correct advice, but obviously we live in a bit of an ambulance chasing world these days in terms of insurance, which is why the cost of advice keeps going up all the time. So that's kind of one of the only differences between the two. In terms of costs, they're almost identical now. The iPensions platform SIPP is £200 per annum and 35 basis points for the underlying platform they have with James Murray. The Novia charges is £180 per annum plus VAT with a 34 basis point charge on an ongoing basis, including the custodian. Obviously these charges with Novia might go up or down depending upon the size of your portfolio, but that's kind of a generic rough ball. What else can I say about them? In terms of service and performance, I would say that when the iPensions was still the Momentum International SIPP, the Momentum International SIPP got so much business. They were the #1 SIPP provider, and sometimes that can cause issues. You know, when you have that much business and that number of applications that you need to process, it can be difficult to maintain 100% levels of efficiency. I think really it was during this period that Novia Global International SIPP came into the market with their platform, which had been launched in 2015. They launched their international SIPP in 2019, 2020, and they obviously looked at the market and said, okay, there's a bit of overspill here. I think we could come and get a little bit of market share, which is what they've gone and done. Since then, obviously, Momentum have obviously rebranded themselves as iPensions in terms of a SIPP provider, and the service from iPensions is fantastic now as well. When you submit the application forms, everything is done within a matter of days rather than weeks, and the pension transfers happen quite quickly. So generally what I could say is if a financial advisor has recommended you the Novia International SIPP or they recommended you the iPensions SIPP platform, they're both pretty good advice. You shouldn't be running a mile from that financial advisor, but what you do need to do, you need to dive into the portfolio that the IFA has recommended to you, not only to check if there's any commissions and charges there, but also look at your ongoing expense ratio or your total expense ratio, TER. This is to understand what are going to be your ongoing costs of that underlying portfolio. At Cameron James, in any report we put together, we always include all the TER of the underlying funds. We quite like this. We're actually quite into portfolio management at Cameron James. We have a lot of Excel spreadsheets of our top performing funds, but we monitor them on a monthly and on a quarterly basis. How are they performing? Are they underperforming the benchmark? Are they outperforming the benchmark? For us, it's not just a case of what you have inside the portfolio, but how much risk you are taking. So to give you an example, if a client said to me, Dominic, I have 12% return, it doesn't really mean anything to me because, okay, you have 12% return, that's fantastic. If they achieve 12% return with, say, a 40% equity portfolio, that's a fantastic level of return. If they've achieved 12% return with a 100% equity weighted portfolio, that's okay. That's general, that's pretty market standard. If you look at the S&P 500 over the course of 30, 40 years, the market average return is around 10 or 11%. So they've performed in line with the market. What we like to do at Cameron James, though, is ensure that our clients are taking as least amount of risk as possible, but being rewarded as much as possible, effectively ensuring that our clients are rewarded correctly for the risk that they're taking. Sometimes clients say, yeah, but my portfolio's had a steady return of 4 or 5% per annum for the past 10 years. And I say to them, with all due respect, we've been in the biggest bull run in history over the past decade. Your portfolio should have done far more than that. Even if you took a dart and threw it at every single platform, every single ETF in the market, you would have massively outperformed 5 or 6% per annum with no type of ongoing active management. We're actually tactically looking which funds to buy and sell. So I hope that's pretty useful, guys, in terms of the best international SIPP out there. As always, if you'd like to have a conversation with myself, talk about an existing international SIPP you have, transfer into an international SIPP, if you're still in the DB advice process, if you haven't taken the plunge yet with another financial advisor, feel free to get in touch with us and we'll complete a free comparison report of what you may be doing or what you're planning to do with what we can provide for you. And as always, guys, as my manager will tell me, please like, share and comment below to ensure that the video gets traction. We're looking to try and grow the video up to 1,000 subscribers currently right now. So click the red button below, get yourself locked in for 2 weekly videos per week. And we look forward to hearing from you in the short term and helping you with your financial planning. Thank you guys and goodbye.